Hey guys, Tarke here, and today I'm just going to give some thoughts on SSF vs Trade League after having played SSF a few leagues, and in the background we're going to watch some beautiful Derek. To try not distract from that, I've sort of green screened myself. It kind of works. But anywho, so I've been playing SSF for, as I said, 2 full leagues now, and I'm choosing what I want to do for upcoming races, upcoming events, so on and so forth. And since a lot of my viewers have started playing SSF because of, my thoughts recently, I thought I'd kind of give my, pros and cons, maybe try and convince a few more of you to try out the SSF lifestyle. So, the main thing which always comes up when it comes to, SSF versus Trade League is, do you actually get to play the builds you want to play? Sort of. Now, this will depend a lot on GGG's philosophy when it comes to buffing and nerfing. And for a long time now, GGG's kind of stuck with not nerfing things. And as long as GGG sticks with that, you eventually get to play all the builds you want to play. Now, it's a bit of a risky setup, but, to give you a few examples. So I spent 2 full leagues chancing Sadus Garbs. Every single Sadus Garb that dropped, even buying chance orbs from the vendors for fusings. Before I got an Impulsor, and I got an Impulsor this league, I got it dropped for me about a week ago, and I've started messing around with some Impulsor Elementalists. Now, I've been wanting to mess around with Impulsor Elementalists for a while now. I only just got the chance to. Now, that's a case of, if they'd nerfed Impulsor right away, I never would have gotten to play that build. While that would have been kind of sad, now that I have got the ability to play that build, it feels so much more satisfying. And that's really the main thing. Is if you're someone with a limited-ish schedule, or you're someone who really struggles to get full enjoyment out of the full league, I think the SSF is an absolute no-brainer. A lot of my personal friends who play PoE, they're not the best players, they're very, very casual, and they would usually kind of play one build up until 90-ish, maybe a second build, and they'd quit, and that'd be them done for the league completely. Since then, a lot of those guys have been doing the whole SSF thing, and they're still playing the league now, and that's really fun and really satisfying to see, because, I feel like it's one of those things where you get a lot of people who would really enjoy playing PoE for longer, but they don't give themselves the chance, because, they just burn through the content playing, whatever super OP build that is at the time, the amount of people who played, Hauer, CI, Volpact back when that was a thing, and was like, oh, I've done all the content, I'm done, and just didn't play anymore, was kind of like, But to caveat that, some people only really enjoy that playstyle. Some people really only do enjoy the super OP. And if that's you, then yeah, SSF may not be the best thing for you. If you know that you can only ever enjoy PoE with a Headhunter and Escher's Mirror, then, good luck getting that. It might happen. It happened to Uber. He got the whole Headhunter meme going a while ago, but, it's not the most reliable thing. And I think that that's really the core thing with everything PoE right now. People are very obsessed with playing the game in the way that they're told to enjoy it. And, I probably face this a bit more than the average player because, I put myself out there with content creation and stuff. But the amount of times people have told me, Tarky, you're not actually having fun. You think you're having fun, but you're having the wrong kind of fun. Ultimately, just play what is fun for you when it comes to hardcore, when it comes to softcore, when it comes to participating in races, not participating in races. But I honestly think that more people really should have the fun that I enjoy, which is SSF. Now, are there things that I miss about Trade League? Yes. Friends. I miss having friends. So, starting from about, I want to say, Harby Legacy League onwards, anyone who knows my content knows that Kane, the mighty lad Kane, was a big part of the stream. Kane was someone that I would regularly duo with. You get to play very interesting builds when it comes to trying to synergize, certain builds around min-maxing with supports. People think that it's just a really basic thing of, oh, well, if you just have a support, then your build is broken. Well, yeah, supports are pretty broken. They make nearly any build broken. But you get a whole next level of min-max. Anyone who remembers my Imlate Tornado Shot Slayer, the whole thing with that build was we built Kane support to synergize with mine so much so that we cut nearly every single damage net off the tree, and we were just trying to get the most attack speed and movement speed possible to really push the clear speed limits. And that was a really exciting way of playing PoE because it opened up a whole different set of challenges where it completely changes the way you think about builds when you're like, okay, I don't need to scale damage at all. let's only scale speed and survivability, and then fitting in as much MF as possible. It was a really fun way of playing. It's something that I highly recommend to people, especially more so in a hardcore than a softcore environment, because in softcore it's pretty easy to just, go fully MF min-max. When it comes to doing the full MF min-max in hardcore, there's a lot more that you need to kind of think about in terms of, well, what is the most I can push while still staying relatively safe? What kind of map content can I do? So on and so forth. And on that note, I would highly recommend Marty's channel. If you haven't watched Marty before, what are you doing? But he's someone who I always get impressed with, because not only does he do the full MF thing, he's always doing it in hardcore, hitting 100, and he's just a really good player, and the way he plays Path of Exile I find particularly enjoyable to watch. So again, make sure you check out Marty's content. Now, one of the other things I also want to touch on a little bit is when it comes to, should I participate in races? We know that there's a 1 month coming up, and GG seems to be in the cycle of doing regular 1 month till the end of each league. I've had a lot of people ask me, Tarke, should I play this content? I don't think I'll enjoy it, so on and so forth. I honestly think that a lot of people are afraid of starting from nothing, and I also think that's kind of what puts people off from SSF. It seems a lot of people seem very, very precious of what they've hoarded. They feel like PoE is all about this. I've built my Atlas up to this point. I can't possibly imagine to level a new character again. I know a lot of people who, would much rather buy, if they could buy like a level 80 character than start a new one fresh. And I think a lot of that just kind of comes down to, yes, if you're on an incredibly limited schedule of you can only play like an hour a week, then maybe you should skip the races and just focus on your, your temporary league, or maybe standard is a better environment for you characters. But honestly, people put a lot of emphasis on themselves to level slowly. Now, personally, I actually enjoy leveling slightly suboptimally. That sounds weird, but I really enjoy leveling as the build I'll be playing at endgame. I don't know why it is, but I just really enjoy it. A recent example of that is since I've been messing around with Impulsor Elementalist, I've been memeing around with Ignite setups, being, Fireball, Vile Fireball, messing around with Incinerate recently, and some Scorching Ray stuff. And I purposely leveled as Scorching Ray for 3 acts instead of just leveling as Fireball, because I kind of felt like it at the time. And it's very hard to explain that, but some of you might know what I mean. It's kind of like if you've ever played an MMO, and you know that you could level as 1 spec fast if you chose to level as a healer anyway, just because you want to. Part of my brain just likes to level kind of suboptimally. But my point being, and to bring this all back in, you can actually level exceedingly fast if you just put a bit of practice into it, and you, approach it correctly. Rise has multiple guides on his channel showing you how to power level up to at 10 in a matter of hours, and he goes through multiple different setups, being it like an Essence Drain setup, going fully twinked out Abyss Jewels, Ellie attack setups. You can level exceedingly fast if you want to, and on that note, whenever there are races, if you do put in the time to practice in the races and to enjoy those races, the benefit is you become better at Path of Exile. If you look at someone like Rise, for example, Rise spends a lot of time practicing racing, therefore he can level far more efficiently, therefore he gets to enjoy PoE a lot more than the average person does. And what I mean by that is a lot of people really enjoy, trying out loads of funky new builds, and the better you are at leveling, the more builds you get to try out in a shorter period of time. So if you really struggle with, running out of enthusiasm for Path of Exile, because, it doesn't hold your attention for a long enough period of time, yes, you could try SSF to slow down that progression, but another thing you could try is actually just, practicing. It sounds really weird for me to say, play SSF, it's slower progression, and then in the same breath also say, actually try and just play as quickly as possible. But if you try and set the goal of getting good at leveling, getting good at racing, that practice, if that's something you enjoy, you've opened up a whole new avenue of PoE that you can play at any point during the league. Watching someone like Waggle, someone like Rise, someone like Uber, practice their fastest Vile kills, while personally a lot of people might find that really uninspiring and really boring, if that's something you're into, you can do that whenever you want. It doesn't matter if you enjoy the league, if you don't enjoy the league, you can play that whenever. So I highly, highly recommend all of you at some point try and go for your fastest, Oversoul, Merveil, or Katava kill, because that just might be your thing. In much the same way, your favorite thing might be sitting on yogurt pots while playing PoE. Maybe that's also something that you could recommend. Now, with all of the rambles aside, what will I be playing in the upcoming 1 month? I'm not sure, and I kind of need your guys' advice on this, because I'm feeling a little bit conflicted about the upcoming 1 months. So the 1 months keep happening when I book my visits to Ireland. So I think in the future, I'm going to try and keep the last month free, and I'll try and spend my couple of days escapes. I'll try and do that in like the first, the second month of the league. And hopefully going forward, that works for me. If next league they decide to do the race right in the middle, then they're just fucking with me at that point. But yeah, so I'm going to be going away for 5 days right in the middle of it, which is a little bit frustrating. And also, a lot of my friends who I usually play Trade League with will be playing the new World of Warcraft expansion, BFA, which launches on the 14th of August. Which is a little bit awkward because we've got the new expansion coming out right around the new race release, and also alongside me being AFK. We're going to be getting the full details on the 1 month coming out in the next week, I imagine. Based on that and based on the exact timings, I might try and bully Kane and my Trade League boys. We might try and do a race push, because I have actually really missed that full optimized group racing, which just isn't really available to me from SSF. Feels bad, man. So what I might try and do, if the timing works out, is push that to line up just in like the first week or so, go really hard, and then people can then escape to go play the new WoW expansion. I can then escape to Ireland for a bit. I will also be playing WoW. I've decided, I know I recently made a video shitting on that, and this is getting very off topic, but I have decided that I need an off stream game, because what often happens, especially I've experienced this a lot at the moment, where I've been very ill with this heat going on, I'm not feeling very well, I can't really concentrate, I decide to play a bit off stream, I then die off stream, and then chat laughs at me, and I don't like being laughed at, chat. So instead what I'm going to do is, when I'm feeling really bad, I'm going to do Mythic Plus and get laughed at in Mythic Plus. So we're smart. So if there are any Horde EU players who wants to Mythic Plus with the world's greatest player, then message me and we can work that out. But yes, TLDR, to bring it all back to the swing boards. SSF is good. Trade is also good. Softcore is good. Hardcore is good. Play whatever game you enjoy playing, but maybe try playing other people's games, because you might also enjoy that. I'm Tarke. Have a good day, and bye-bye.